What's going on, man? So Paul George, man, had an interesting topic on his show that he talked about today. So basically, man, what happened is he compared Ace Bailey and he compared obviously Cooper Flagg, right? Who are projected lottery picks in the draft. Might go number one, number two, or number one, Dylan Harper two, Ace Bailey number three. But he compared the two and said who he would rather have. So let's break it down. So via his quote of his show, Podcast P, he says, I think Ace Bailey can scratch a little bit more off of his surface than Cooper Flagg can, which I think both will be all-stars. Both will be superstars once they develop and get into the NBA. I think both will be superstars. I think those two will definitely be the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird comparison in terms of similar body types and the parity between those two. But I'm going to go with Ace Bailey. All right, let's break down a couple things in this quote. One, he compared them to obviously Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, right? Basically saying they're going to be synonymous with each other. Whenever we think of basketball, them two come in the same class. Them two obviously be in the same 2024 class for high school basketball. Those are two guys that are going to be always pretty much linked, which I agree with. Now, can they get to that level of a Bird and a Magic? We will find out, right? We've seen great talent that's come into the league and eventually, somebody's a bust or don't work out. However, I do not believe that is the case with these two. I think these two both are bona fide superstars. I think they will eventually be kind of like that next face of the NBA. Now, you got young guys right now with Shai Gilgeous. You got obviously Luka, Jason Tatum's in there, Anthony Edwards. Those are kind of your next crop of guys in line, for the mantle for the throne. Obviously, we'll see which one of those guys wins the title first. Not talking about Jason Tatum. Obviously, he's won the title. I'm talking about the other guys. But nonetheless, I think both of these guys are elite, man. I mean, what they can contribute to their teams is next level. Let's break it down in college level. All right, so where Ace is going to get a lot of flack is his three-point shooting. But his three-point shooting is 36.7%, which he's in the topper half, in my humble opinion, in college basketball. Cooper Flagg is shooting at a 37% clip, 37.3, I believe. But where he's been struggling is he'll have spells where he doesn't score the basketball, at a high-end level. He's taking a lot of shots, things like that. So it's the efficiency part. But I feel like that's going to come with time. But you talk about prolific scoring, in college basketball and probably even the NBA, I think Ace has all the tools. He's 6'10", 200 pounds. He can score anywhere on the floor. I was always marveled with just, him being able to score with less dribbles. That's the most probably important part of his game. It reminds you a little bit, I don't want to say Klay Thompson, but it reminds you of what he was doing with little dribbles and still being able to light you up. He can do that and then some easily. Throughout. Then he can play off the ball. He can play with the ball. He can stretch the defense with the long ball. He can get into the paint. He's a 3-level scorer. He can assist. He can pass the rock. I mean, he has everything basically at his mental. All it's going to be, he has to clean up his efficiency for our scoring. And that just basically means less shots, not as many shots, and being more efficient with your touches. That's literally it. He can rebound the basketball at a high level. He can defend at a high level. He checks off a lot of boxes for you. Now, Cooper Flagg's obviously in the conversation for the John Wooden Water winner, top player in the ACC. He should win ACC Player of the Year. I mean, he's been doing damage all season long, averaging 19.5 points per game at 18 years old. I have him coming into the season averaging 15 or more. He's proven me right, 7.7 rebounds and 4 assists. The guy is a stud, man. I really do. I agree with Paul George. I think you're going to have two elite guys. And I hope it spurs a rivalry, you know what I'm saying? Because I was saying at high school, I thought that Ace Bailey should be ranked higher. But I'm seeing what Cooper Flagg's doing with Duke, and he has them legit as national title contenders. Now, there's a better team around Cooper Flagg compared to Rutgers. I do want to give him credit for that, Ace Bailey. Going to a program that has not been relevant and good since the 90s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys go to top-end programs. He said, hey, I'm going to try to get out the mud and see what I can do, team up with a guy, and potentially. That's no disrespect to Cooper Flagg. He did what he did and did it the right way and get developed by one of the top coaches in college basketball, John Shire, and that Duke staff. But you got to also give credit to to Ace Bailey for being able to go, get out the mud, and still, being able to put up these kind of numbers and sharing the backcourt along with a Dylan Harper. It's been spectacular. And when he's playing, for the most part, they've been pretty good. Now, I know the record isn't the best, but when both of them guys are playing, they're tough to stop. They just don't have the team construct around them to be successful. Now, far as the NBA prospects go, I will say I do think Ace has a little bit of a higher upside. He reminds you of kind of a mix of a baby KD and kind of a Paul George. Prolific scorer, and I'm talking about Paul George in his prime. Prolific scorer, can shoot anywhere on the floor. Whoever's guarding him, it doesn't matter. He's never fazed by any defensive coverage. I think that is his ceiling. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the other facets of his game where, oh, wow, this dude is something special. This dude could be potentially an NBA Hall of Famer, right? And continue to clean up things, a little bit of things on defensive end, being able to show the other parts of your game as far as you passing the ball at a high level, which I think he does, but doing it at a more high level. And then being a two-way elite player. If Ace can develop into a two-way elite player, yo, look out. But I do think he has a lot of upside at the next level. I really do believe that he can be a bona fide superstar. And I will put my money on Ace as maybe the slightly better career. I really do humbly think that. He has so much potential and it's only scratching the surface. Cooper as well. Cooper is nothing to sneeze at. He can do practically anything on the basketball court. The key with both of these guys is you don't want to peak too early. I feel like both of them are hitting it at a high level, but who is going to hit their prime at the right time and who's not going to peak too early? Because if you peak too early, we've seen what happened, in college basketball and obviously NBA. You don't want to peak too early. And also it's going to be what situation they get put in. So, he's already talked about going back potentially to college. Now, it's not a guarantee, but he's talked about, hey, I might go back, re-up, do another year, continue to build my name. NIL money's good. I'm good. That's a potential for him. Ace is likely going to go to the draft. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him going back to Rutgers. Likely going to hit the draft. You know what I'm saying? Different scenario potentially. We'll see obviously what happens. But better team around him. Got the Bouger twins coming in. A lot of good stuff around that team. And could potentially win it all. I don't know who would stop them next year. But his experience, Bouger twins coming in that top 5 class, top 10 class for Duke? Good luck. But nonetheless, my last thing about this is where they get drafted, right? If you Ace Bailey, can you land in a scenario where they got the right team around you, right? You don't really want to go to Washington. Be respectful. I know they got Alex Sarr, not a good team, right? You want to go to a team like they got a point guard already there for you that can get you the ball. Hornets, potentially. You know what I'm saying? You want to go to a team that can really use you. You know what I'm saying? The Pistons are having a rebound year. They look really good. Crop of young talent. Like the Hawks, potentially. You know what I'm saying? I know they just traded away DeAndre Hunter. I know they like Jalen Johnson. But I'm just throwing out hypotheticals on the top of my brain. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a Portland. Like, you want to go to a team that can really use you and where you can flourish as one of the key players. You know what I'm saying? A team that's not established just yet with superstars. That's what both of them need. And you just don't want to go to a putrid franchise. Like Washington, that's what they've been, respectfully. So it's going to also depend which guy goes into one of the better scenarios and which guy, let's say he gets the worst end of the stick. How does he make his name known there? You know what I'm saying? And can he navigate even going to a bad franchise and still making them relevant? That's something to think about as well. But I agree with him. I think both are going to be great. But I will put just a slight edge to Ace. But we're going to find out. Y'all comment below. Who you taking over the next 10 years? Ace Bailey or you taking Cooper Flagg?